at Old Conna.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
An historic moment then for this year's captain of Old Conna, Jack Tiernan, the first to drive in on the new course. An enthusiastic crowd supporting him, and there too was the lady captain, Frances Buckley. And third to go, the President, John Byrne. Well, it's away, and as the champagne flowed, we had an opportunity to learn from John Byrne the background to the move from Kiltiernan.
After a long number of years attempting to come to some proper arrangement with regard to the ownership of where we were up there, or obtain a proper lease, in 1983 we concluded that we wouldn't be successful in that regard, and as a result we formed a development committee whose task was to go around the locality here within, say, 10-mile radius and obtain something suitable where we could create a golf course.
Well, I know that just a few short months ago, in visiting this virgin land, as it were, it didn't seem possible that within 6 months you'd have what you have, like the club has and like a playable golf course. How is that achieved?
Yes, indeed. First of all, we're very, very pleased with the way the clubhouse has turned out, and Eddie Hackett, the golf architect, has created a marvellous course with tremendous potential to be one of the finest championship courses in the country. All of this success and all of the speed of work here has only been achieved by the tremendous enthusiasm which we have in our membership. And we have no difficulty whatsoever in obtaining all the support we need to get out here and get the work done as fast as possible.
And a tremendous amount of work has already been achieved. The model represented the dream, and that dream has now become almost a reality as the course takes shape. And the architect, Eddie Hackett, explains the background.
It's so much different to what we see now, because in my first inspections here 13 months ago, it was much more wooded, and we had what is now the Avon School was at that time empty, and indeed some of our founders and that say if only we could have had the school for the clubhouse.
It is a magnificent building, isn't it, overlooking the whole course?
Yeah, so that was just wishful thinking, but in the meantime, as a matter of fact, this was, I think, the 6th site I looked at for the founders here. And in the end, they did hit on the right one, because the setting is unsurpassed. And it lent itself then to the development of what has already made an impact, even walking down, as going to be a first-class golf course.
What challenges on the course have you laid for the players and the members of Old Conna?
Well, we had 143 acres starting off, which is a bonus for an 18-hole golf course land-wise. And we had it, I suppose the most impressive thing, we had a beautiful woodland, and the task, the test was to use to the best advantage in featuring the golf holes. And in actual fact, the trees and the woodland feature every hole on the course.
If you were to pick one hole for visitors to come out and say, this is the hole Eddie Hackett must have had most pleasure in designing, which one would it be?
Well, that's like people say, which course of all the courses is the best, and because you always say, well, they all have their intrinsic characteristics. And here, I love all the holes here. They all have their own characteristics. Perhaps number 7, an immediate answer, because it's one of the most acute dog legs we have, and it's right travelling and ranging under the scalp up there, about 380 yards, and a very severe dog leg. And I think there'll be many Tales of Woe at that hole.
Well, Jack Tiernan, as captain of Old Conna, a unique captaincy, I might say, because you must be the only captain in golf history to be captain of a club in 2 different venues in your 1 year.
A very proud day indeed, Fred, for me and for all the committee members of this club, and indeed for all of the members, that in such a short space of time we should find ourselves, in fact, within 12 months of going from one course into a virtually developed new course here at Old Conna.
How many members, in fact, do you have?
In terms of full members, we have 525. In terms of lady members, we have 170, and juniors is approximately 80.
And that wouldn't indicate that there are many vacancies. In other words, people who are watching and saying, I'd like to join that club, they're going to have to wait.
They are indeed. In our membership, which opened up last May, was full, or practically so, last October. And we now find ourselves in the position that most other clubs, particularly on the south side of Dublin, that they have few, if any, vacancies.
What about the future and developments and plans? What would you, as the captain in the first year at the new grounds and new course, what would you like to see happen in the coming years?
Originally, we anticipated going on to our new greens late next year. Due to the tremendous efforts by many people, well coordinated, by professionals who had to become professionals within the club, our own amateurs. The course has made remarkable strides, and who knows, weather permitting, we might find ourselves playing those new greens early next spring.
Ewan Byrne is the man who is charged with the fundraising responsibility. How did it go, faced with the prospect of gathering together how much money?
Well, at the moment, the total project runs at 1.34 million. In the early stages, about 7 years back, we had not a penny in the pot. We very quickly implemented a fundraising program to see whether or not we had the capability of doing it. We raised our deposit of £125,000. That would cover the deposit on the land, legal fees, etc. We were satisfied with the speed with which we raised that money, that we could go on to take on this project. We started by sending out in the catchment area, around the area, 68,000 cards. We dropped them in all homes, and from Delgany into Donnybrook out to Rathfarnham. Out of that, we got a response of 2,200 replies. We prepared a very detailed brochure setting out a photograph of the course, etc. And from that, we, over a period of a few months, filled our membership. The price we charged was £1,200 to our current members and £1,400 to new applicants. We thought, in actual fact, that the recruitment programme would take a period of about 3 years. In actual fact, it took us a little more than 3 months.